I figure out starting lineup for tomorrow. It's a game time decision. Why is that important?
Well, seniors.
Yeah?
Haven't started.
Okay. Game time decision.
Well, Kyla, talked to a lot of her teammates, and they do say that she's a good teammate. You know, just do you find it admirable for a kid who hasn't played as much to, you know, sometimes it's tough for kids to still, you know, show that energy on the bench when
Well, if she didn't, she wouldn't be on the team. So we're actually trying to take advantage of her personality. So during the recruiting process, it was more, you know, I want to come to Connecticut. And we're like, okay, so why are we going to take this kid? What is it about her that would be good for our program? You know? Well, she's athletic as hell. No, she's not. You know, or she gives us another 6'3" post player, 6'4" post player. Okay. So when we're recruiting, we're trying to think about what about this kid that's really going to help our program. And first thing that all of us said was, this is a high energy kid that will bring high energy to everything that she does. And if she gets better as a player, she's going to help us along the way win a couple games here and there. And that's exactly how it's played out. It's exactly how it's played out. I couldn't be happier for her. Every kid wants to play more. I mean, who doesn't? You don't want a kid that doesn't want to play. Everybody wants to play more. But it's played out exactly the way I had hoped, and I hope it's been great for her. I'm sure it has.
Is there a certain level of pride that you have in a player like Kyla becoming a contributor compared to someone like Crystal that's a high-ranked recruit coming in? Like, do you take more pride in a less recruited player becoming a factor?
I think a little bit of both. I mean, I think it's. I think anytime you recruit, you know, a first-team All-American kid coming out of high school, and they turn into, you know, a great All-American in college, and they get to a point where they've always wanted to be. You feel great about that, you know, because that's not easy to do. And it's the same if, you know, a kid comes and, you know, you're hoping and praying and rooting for them to have a great experience and be able to contribute somehow, some way. And whenever you get a kid like that and they work their butt off, that's exactly what happens. They end up contributing. They end up contributing somehow, some way, in some way, shape, or form. And it's a reminder, you know, that there's a lot of kids out there that play because they love the game. And she's one of those old throwbacks that plays because she loves the game. You know?
Obviously, each of the 5 seniors has their own story, their own path, but is there anything in particular, generally speaking, or from each one of them that you want the younger players to take from them by the time they leave here, they graduate?
You know, it's been not so much with Ev and Tully because they really haven't had a chance to, for different reasons. You know, Ev just got here. Tully's been injured just about her entire career here at Connecticut. And anytime you have somebody like that on your team, if they work really, really hard, it's a little bit of an example to some of the young players that your attitude and how you work and what you bring to the team shouldn't just depend on all the accolades that you get, all the playing time that you get. For Molly and for Kyla, I think the perfect example for those kids is if you're a high school American coming out of high school and you work as hard as those two guys work, then you'll be National Player of the Year if you have any talent. Quite simple. Because they set an example every single day that you should follow. You know? Because if you can keep up with Molly, then you're doing something. If you can keep up with Molly day in and day out with how hard she works, then and you have, you know, all-American talent, then you got it made. You're going far in life. You know, and for Crystal, you know, it's been more of a slow, you know, gradual improvement, and it seems like every year she has to figure out a new way to function on our team. You know, from freshman year when it was like, if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. You know, we got Sanaya, we got Kia. You know, we got some pretty good players here. You know, to, you know, having the good fortune of playing with Feast and Lou, and having that comfort level there. You know. And now I'm being in a situation where she's really got to lead, and she's got a lot on her shoulders. So it's been a lot during those 4 years, and I think she's handled it great. You know, she's handled it great. And if you go to college and, you know, you go to 3 Final Fours your first 3 years, it's pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good.
What was the recruiting process like with Molly, and how has her career played out relative to how you expected?
For Molly, the recruiting process, I think you should go to Princeton. That was the best advice I could give her. You know, she sat in my office and I said, "What's wrong with you? Why don't you go to Princeton?" And that's where her mother wanted her to do. So her mother was pissed at me for the longest time. And I said, "Molly, how do you not go to Princeton?" She said, "I want to play basketball." And I could play basketball at Princeton, but it's a different kind of basketball. And I want to test myself here at this level. And she got a ringing endorsement from Stewie, because she came, she played some pickup, and Stewie came up to my office and said, "That new kid, you know, you should think about recruiting her." I said, "Okay." Now Stewie was leaving, so she didn't give a damn who we had on our team, but I think she impressed Stewie. "So what do you like about her?" She goes, "Well, she knows enough to throw me the ball every time down the floor." So I knew there was an ulterior motive. But yeah, that's about the story of Molly.
Does she hold kind of like a special place with you just for taking on that challenge?
Molly?
Yeah. Considering you said, hey.
She has a special place, all right. She has a special place, all right. I wish I could explain what that place is. But Molly has so much energy. She wants it so desperately that I want her to be successful every day, because I like to have kids that work that hard. And she's been her own worst enemy, because she wants it so bad. She wants to play so bad. And it's like every possession she's trying to prove to me that she should be on the team. I'm like, "Molly, you're on the team. You know, you've been on the team for 4 years. You have to try out every possession, you know, by trying to make a great play." You know? But you know what? You know, I say it's a fine line between, like, you know, you being a genius and you're being totally insane. She crosses that line a lot. And I don't mean to the genius side. We had a conversation one day before one of our games, and I said, "Molly, you're not going to win a lot of games for us. You know that, right?" She says, "Yeah, I know." I said, "But when you're in, you know, when you're in a position to help us, you know how you help us. You just manage it and don't put us in a position where we have a chance to lose a game. You know, just make good decisions and we're good to go. So, who the hell were we playing recently? Who did we just play? South Florida. So we're down in South Florida and we really need a bucket bad. And I put Molly had been in the game, so I put her in the game. And we really need a bucket bad. And we call a play that we're going to run. And all it requires is for Molly to make a pass and cut and go to the corner. But she's too smart for that. She passes to the wing, fakes the cut, and comes back. And Jamel, who hasn't been with us that long, goes, I'm going to wring her neck. So yeah, she has a special place in my heart. That's for sure.
You mentioned this a little bit the other day, but for players like Kyla and Molly who aren't going to, you know, even I guess Evan, Julie, they're not going to be like the major contributors out there day in, day out. What do you want them to get out of this experience? There, however long they're here, whether or not it's 4 years, 1 year, that you hope that they can take on for the rest of their lives.
You know, I've always been of the mindset that in the 35 years that I've been here, kids usually get out of the experience of being here whatever they want their experience to be. If they want to have an okay experience, then they just do okay. If they want to have an amazing experience, then they come and they get a chance to take advantage of all the things that are here. So each kid, I think, goes about it their own way. But I would hope that whoever decides to come to play here, that every year they learn something new. They learn a little bit more about not just basketball, but they learn a little bit more about themselves. You know, from this is the pace I'm used to going at, and now I can't go at that pace anymore. But I don't know if I can go at a different pace. Well, how do you know if you don't try? And then you try and you don't succeed. How do you come back the next day and try even harder? Until when? Until you do succeed. And then when you succeed, you know, I want them to know that that's day one. And now tomorrow you have to be better than that. So there's always a challenge and always more for them to reach for. And I hope they learn that. I hope when they leave they go, there's some place that I can be and I don't even know what that is, but I'm going to try to keep finding it. I'm going to keep pushing myself to see what my limits are. And I'm hopefully leaving here knowing what it takes to be a great teammate. Because more than anything, you know, this is all about being a great teammate. Today is getting harder and harder because the individual is celebrated so much. You know, it's all about the individual. And here it's never about the individual. So it's quite a, you know, it's quite an adjustment for a lot of kids. And I hope that every year they become more aware of what it's like to be a better teammate. So when they leave here and they get a job, or they go and play on another team somewhere, they understand. This is what a great teammate does.